It's the K-Day Morning Show, CC and Romeo, and we are honored. We are blessed. It's been a few years, but this man has been doing it for a long time. Common, welcome to the K-Day Morning Show, bro.
Peace, man. Thank y'all for having me. It's great to see y'all, too.
And I got to be honest. We have people in artists in here all the time. No disrespect, but there's certain artists that come through that create an impact, and you've done that.
Man,
you look in front of you, man. You see how your music's been loved for years. Slick Rick got the same kind of blessing when he came through. He was overwhelmed with it, man.
Man, I mean, I must say, man, like, when I look at this, look at all these record covers and think about, like, it's like looking at a picture book of yourself, because you think I'm looking and thinking about where I was at these different moments of my life, and these albums are really just like journals of where I was in life, and to see somebody even honor that music like that, and to know that people recognizing the music has touched people, I gotta say I'm moved. Like, it kind of take me aback, and I just. Like, CC, I like think about your shirt that you got on. I'm blessed and I'm grateful, you know? Like, it's when I see all these covers and just thank God that I'm here making music, man.
Yeah, well, we thank God that you did it for it and still doing it for us, bro. Like, for real, man. Such an impact. And that's what K-Day is all about.
All day, yes.
You know, the foundation, the first hip-hop station in the world.
Yes,
and you helped build that concrete for us, you know what I mean?
I know. Well, you know, I first of all, I obviously heard about K-Day back in, like, the 80s.
Oh, you did?
Yes, because, you know, some of the artists, like whether it was NWA or whatever, would mention certain things about K-Day, or just us here in hip hop. Whenever, like, it had to be late 80s, I know for sure that's when I heard of it. And I told my trainer I was coming up to K-Day. He from LA. He was like geeked. I was like, yeah, I'm geeked too. I'm coming up to K-Day. And he was telling me how back in the day it was on AM.
Yep.
And you know, it's just like, I love that you all keep the foundation there and still are present too. So thank you all for what, you know.
It's really important for us to cultivate that, you know what I mean? And for it being the first hip hop station in the world, you know what I mean? Before, you know, there was FM, AM, and the fact that we brought it back. So yes, the fact that you even pay homage to K-Day, thank you, because we love this station so much and we know how important it is to hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, to be the first hip hop station is incredible.
It is.
And like, I mean, that's history forever at this point. And like, to think about the impact that hip-hop culture has had on the world, and to be the first, like, station to allow that music, like, be dedicated to
all
this
day
culture
long, you know what I mean?
Is like, I mean, that just goes to show you how forward thinking, you know, the creators of K-Day were, and now you know, now you all are here continuing to keep the culture moving forward.
Yeah, and you definitely moving forward with the Let Love tour going down.
Yes.
Album about to drop. So you're going to be where starting tomorrow? Where you jumping it up?
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm performing at the Ace Hotel in L.A.
Okay.
And, man, I'm really excited because my tour performance is obviously a lot of the music that I've done throughout the years from off these albums I'm looking at. But it's also just a presentation that's like, it has a theater aspect to it. So I kind of put together this show that has like a story, a narrative to it. So I love getting to perform. And the tour has been going great already. So LA is like, we into our second week, and it's great to be here in LA.
That's what's up. And the fact that you said that you put a lot into it, it's almost like when they go to a Common show, especially on your tour, it's really going to be an experience.
Yes.
It's going to be an experience.
Yeah, I mean, I want to create experiences that, like, people who have seen me for years, it still feels fresh. Like, man, we never seen Common do this. But it's still rooted in the foundation of what I love to do, which is music, live performance, hip-hop. I love the culture, soul music. Like, I bring all those elements to my live performance, but now because I'm an actor and because I love theater and I love just storytelling, I had to put that element just so people can experience something new. And just even for me as an artist to feel like I'm not just only doing something I was doing 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 8 years ago. I'm doing something new that's present for me now.
Exactly.
I love that.
And you think about when you first came in the game, that first record deal for you, Common, did you ever, or could you ever imagine big screen, being on TV, and now the book?
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
I mean, my dream was just to have a record, man, just be heard. Like, I wanted to be heard. Like, that's what I named my album Can I Borrow a Dollar, because I was like, I'm from Chicago. At the time, it was only East Coast and West Coast rap really out. And I was like, man, I want us to get on the map. I want to be heard, too, as an artist. And that just progressed and matriculated on to being like, man, I can go out and conquer the world in these different facets of things that I love. Like acting, like writing stories, books. I read myself, so I like self-help books. So I wanted to write a self-help book, and that's what this book is about. So I just felt like choosing those avenues. I never dreamed that I would get to this level, but at a certain point it clicked in that if I envision myself doing it and I'm passionate about it, I can get to that level.
And you think about it, you have a chance to sit still for a minute and look back what you've accomplished. Because sometime in this game, you're so busy. Even the radio side, Cece and I, we get busy and years go by and we look back and be like, yo, I remember I had a chance to fly on a flight with Aaliyah and hang out with her for the day.
I was one of the first radio personalities to interview Chris Brown, you know,
really?
like things like that. Yeah, but I think we're so busy trying to just keep it going and getting to the next level that we never just take that time to be like, wow, I really did a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you've done that too.
I mean, walking into this station right now, walking into this room, looking at the record covers that was laid out, I had that moment of like, wow, like, man.
It almost feels like your career was laid out.
Yeah, my career was laid out in front of me for me to just reflect on real quick. And it just made me, like I said, just grateful. And we do have to take time to, like, not only just celebrate those moments and be grateful and honor those moments, but also, like, for me now, what I've learned to do is if I'm in a space where I'm like, damn, I can't believe I'm here, I just try to take it in, like, whoa, like I'm sitting in front of President Obama. Just let me take that in right now, and just be present.
I mean, I get it. Like, how was that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's one of those things where you like, man, God, you got me here. Like, I literally, was
from can I borrow $1 to sitting in front of Obama. You feel me?
Sitting in front of Obama, like the first black president. Like, at this time, we wasn't even envisioning. Can I borrow $1 came out in '92. We weren't even envisioning a black president.
No, not at all.
That wasn't even didn't even seem like it could be in no time in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So for me in '97, finding forever to be at the Bud Billiken Parade in Chicago, which is a historical parade that goes through our community, to have President Obama, who was running at the time, he was Senator Obama running for president, come up to me and say, I just bought Finding Forever, I'm playing it right now. And then be like, to be out campaigning for him and to see him actually become president. And I honestly was sitting once in the White House and sitting around, like, talking with individuals, and on his playlist was a song off this album called The People, off the album Finding Forever. I mean, also on his playlist was Nas and Janelle Monáe and all these other artists, Chance the Rapper, but
he knows good music.
Yeah, he knows good music.
He knows good music,
So, but just to hear that's one of those times where I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm here. Let me just take this in. Like,
I'm taking it in as you describe it to us. Like, you in the White House, look at the President Obama's playlist.
Yeah.
You own it.
That's crazy.
You own it.
I'm hearing it over the speakers. Like, it was like.
I'm sorry, Carmen. I would be like, this is my music. I'm in the White House and my song is played.
I ain't gonna lie. I was literally in a conversation with him while the song The People came on.
Come on.
And I was just like, I was still in the conversation, but I was thinking in my mind, like, wait, this is surreal right here.
That's dope, though.
Divine, yeah.
And what's so dope is you've told us stories on your records, Carmen, but then you let us into your life with your book.
Mm-hmm.
How hard was it, or how easy was it for you to do that? Because you put it all out there for us.
I think it was both, Rome. It was like I felt it was easy to start the journey of, like, I'm gonna write a book. Not easy, because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to write about. I knew I wanted to write about love, but that's a broad topic.
Right.
So I had to find out, like, how do I write about love and it makes sense to the dude that's like from South Central, or the dude that's from Brooklyn, or the woman is from the South Side of Chicago, or just I wanted to relate to people, but I also just wanted to tell my authenticity, my truth, tell my truth. So I just started writing, and then it started to develop. I wanted to talk about the love for God. I wanted to talk about love for self.
That's right.
I wanted to talk about, like, love for others, and, like, being able to love community and love through tough times. I wanted to be able to talk about love in, like, ways that really would be practical and be like an action word in people's lives.
Yeah.
So I just really honestly just started to tell my stories, and it became easier to open up because I just felt like I was doing it for a higher purpose.
Was it therapy for you, though, in a sense?
Oh, for sure. For sure it's therapy. And I talked about therapy in the book, I talk about some real tough situations like child molestation that went on in my life. But, when I talked about it, I didn't know I was going to have to talk about it a lot in interviews, but of course, that's what happens. It's the truth. But I felt the liberation for myself, and I felt victory in the fact that a lot of men and women been coming up to me like, man, you've allowed me to tell my story.
There you go.
And, coming from where we come from, Black, Latino areas, that we don't talk about these things.
We don't.
A lot,
we don't.
So I feel like any vulnerability that I shared, I don't feel afraid about it. I feel like, man, it's victory in knowing that it may be helping somebody else reach their own peace or be open to telling their story.
We don't tell it because in our culture, we don't air our dirty laundry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we keep it in-house. So with that being said, when you decided to do this book and you were coming all out, I'm curious to see if you had a conversation with your family. Like, listen, I'm about to come out with this book because, you know what I mean? Sometimes the family,
Yes.
you know what I mean? You have to because they're the ones that are going to deal with the questions also as well.
That's a great question because, the book also talks about my relationship with my daughter and her confronting me about like where she didn't think I was a good father at. And we had to go through our own, like, before this book came out, like our own process and own therapy together just to like make sure everything is healed before I go out there and talk about that. And it's still in process, but I had to talk to my mother about the molestation because I had never talked to her about it.
Man.
And it was one of those things where what you just said, CC, is so true because culturally, we don't like air our dirty laundry. My mother was like telling me like people in our family that it happened to, I never knew it happened. And that's because we don't talk about it. And then that allows the cycle to keep happening.
True.
So I was like, man, Mom, I'm talking about it. I got to talk about it. I know it was like she was going through her own process of it because, as a parent, you feel like, well, could I have stopped it?
I didn't protect you or
And
exactly.
she told me her process eventually that, she went through, and I felt like I was glad she was able to share that with me, and I let her know it was like, shoot, it was nothing you could have done, and now this is helping other people, and she, she felt some peace about it.
I'm glad you said that, and I'm going to tell you why, because you wonder how God bless you so much, and what are you supposed to do? You having your testimony is what you're supposed to do, right? Because you allow other people, give them the courage to speak out. Just like I'm going to tell you right now, the reason why I spread the word and talk about my testimony is because my mom told me to do that.
Yes.
Like people don't know when my dad left when I was 3, my mom was in church singing in choir, but she left church because she had to go back and make sure we could eat.
Right.
So my mom had to have a couple boyfriends, and she wasn't proud of that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but she said you have to tell that story because they got to know where you came from and what made you what you are.
Yeah.
And I wasn't proud of that, but she gave me the green light to do that.
Yeah.
So when you told your mom you were going to tell that story, her reaction was?
Yeah. I mean, she was just more or less like, man, are you okay, first and foremost? And then she was like, you sure, she kind of was more feeling like, I don't know if, like she basically said that people in our family been through this and it wasn't like we talked about it. So she kind of, I think she was trying to be comfortable with me coming out saying that to the public because she got to deal with it too.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, it took a process. Her initial reaction was more resistance to me talking about it. She didn't say, don't say nothing.
Right.
But I could tell in her heart, she was like, wait, let's pause for a minute. But I'm like, it's already in the book. I got to tell,
It's done, Mom.
You just got to rock with it, Mom. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that's something that we have to understand as individuals too. As much as our parents love us, we got to do what's best for us too. It was best for me to tell what I needed to tell. Even my mother didn't approve of it, because that was part of my liberation and part of my journey. And at the same token, I knew, like I said, we doing it for a greater purpose. It ain't like I'm just only telling the story just to share, just about me.
Right.
I'm like, I know. Cause it's young men that have been through this, that don't want to talk about it. I've met people in prisons that have been able to basically trace the violence that happened in their life from them being abused.
Yeah.
And they've been able to say, look, I was abused at this age. I didn't know what to do with it. I ended up becoming violent about it. That became part of the culture. I started thinking violence was the way, and now I'm in prison. And I've met, like, shout out to my man Bobby Gons, who I met in prison, who said exactly what I just told you. And that clicked in my head that, like, man, because he didn't have anybody to talk to, it ended up affecting his life and then somebody else's life.
Absolutely.
So I feel like, man, let me tell my story in a way that is going to be my honest opinion. I'm doing it for me, but it's also for the healing of others.
Man,
Absolutely.
Truly commend you on that. Of course, you got the tour jumping off. The album is going to be coming soon. They can pre-order that.
Yes, sir. The album you can pre-order it now. It's called Let Love. It's out on August 30th. And we on the tour, like we hitting Ace Hotel tomorrow, like with the live show. And man, I'm excited. The book is out. I'm really happy to be putting out more music, man. It's like.
And then you were in New Orleans for Essence, right? Not too
Oh
long
my
ago.
God!
Yeah.
Yes, that video.
Yeah,
The one with the freestyle. Yes.
Man, just the fact that you did that. What triggered that? What was the moment like?
Man, I just saw him freestyling. I heard about him before, but I saw him freestyling in New Orleans. Like, he was just on the street, like right at our hotel, and they was actually trying to kick him off because he was in front of the Ritz-Carlton. They was just like, tripping about somebody being in front of their hotel. So then I heard him rhyming. I'm like, man, this dude is cold. Like, because he just rhyming off the top of the head, freestyling, just saying. Then I was like, man, I got to get in on this, and that's my man. I mean, I just wanted to join him and give him some love. That's my
right.
And his name is Ray, man. He's like, anyway, we just was going back and forth freestyling. That that's one of the things that I always enjoy about hip hop is like the feeling it gives others too. So while we was freestyling, the people around was feeling like they was getting geeked up. So we just, went into our thing, and now, man, I'm in contact with him. He actually out here. I brought him out here for a second.
He's gonna be at the Ace Hotel.
Yeah, he's gonna be at the Ace Hotel.
Yeah, he is.
He's gonna be
Okay.
at the Ace Hotel, so we might get into a little freestyle there.
Shout out to Ray.
Yeah, shout out to Ray.
Talking
man.
about paying it forward, bro. Like, that's major.
Yeah, we got him out here. He brought his wife and his kid. He a solid dude, a really talented dude.
That's dope.
Good guy. So I'm looking for. I want his music to get out there.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'll tell you right now, we have this game called Ass Style we like to play. If you're ready to have some fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, if you do 3 strikes, then you get dropped into the water. We don't want you to go in the water. There's sharks in the water.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to build an all-star team like NBA. West rappers, East Coast rappers, Midwest with the Dirty South.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a couple of names. Let us know who on your starting lineup.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Too Short, E40. Who gets to start?
I'm going with Short Dog.
Going Short Dog. Exhibit the Game. Which one?
I might have to go with the Game.
Okay. DJ Quick, Warren G.
I'm going with DJ Quick.
Okay.
That's
all
right.
Yes. Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube.
Ooh, that's a
Come
tough.
on. That one's tough.
Oh man, that's tough. I'm gonna have to go with my man Q because he meant a lot to me, like just growing up.
Okay, that's dope. All right, may they both rest in peace. Tupac, Eazy-E. Yeah, Easy started it. You know what Tupac, the impact he had, but
I'm about to go with Tupac because it was just so he was able to give so many dimensions of life, man. Like from keep your head up to like
Brenda's got a baby.
to
You know
trap.
what I'm saying?
video of that
Yes,
too,
to
right?
hit him up.
To hit him
You know,
up, to hit him up.
exactly.
yeah, man.
Like me against the world, yeah.
Okay, well, let's go East and get this starting 5. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, Tribe Called Quest or Wu-Tang?
Damn, man, y'all give me a like.
And remember, this is just for fun. It's just for fun.
I'm gonna go with Tribe. They was my first. Like they took me to another level. Like if it wasn't for Tribe, I wouldn't have made the album Resurrection because they just like I was listening to them. They had jazz and plus I didn't make their record cover and they had a lot of people on their record cover that was like my age and I was like, man, I ain't on their cover. I got to get better. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That motivated you.
Yeah, it motivated me.
Okay. All right, Rakim and Slick Rick.
I'm gonna go with the guy Rakim. Just I love Slick Rick, but the guy, man, Rakim brought in like a whole different style of rapping that nobody ever had heard of. So
I'm loving the stories you have connected to these names. So that's why it's a win-win for everybody. Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J.
Ooh, I know who I'd pick. Okay, go ahead.
Now, Mama said knock you out. Be careful coming. Be careful.
But I love me some Big Daddy Kane too.
I love Kane. But
Yeah.
He's a smooth operator, ain't he?
Yeah.
he's a smooth up, man. Damn, man, y'all gave it hard. Okay, I'm gonna go. Man, I'm gonna go with my heart, Big Daddy. I'm going with Big Daddy. Big Daddy Kane, man.
Redman, Busta Rhymes.
Man, I'm gonna go with Redman because, man, I heard Redman on these freestyle tapes early on, and that was one of them same things that made me be like, oh man, I gotta get better. And I just feel like he underrated. I'm going with Redman.
Okay, Jay-Z or Nas?
I'm gonna go with Nas just because Nas was, to me, the first to rhyme the way he did, and he changed the way everybody rapped after him, in my opinion, including myself. He inspired like us to write at different levels, and the way he described things. Nobody was doing it that way. And to this day, Illmatic is my favorite hip-hop album. So.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, Midwest South, we're going to do this real quick. Ooh. Nelly, Luda.
Man, I'm going to go with Luda. Luda had definitely, like, he bring different styles to it.
I've always thought Luda was underrated. Like, for reals. I always thought,
he's creative with his,
that.
man.
That's a really
he's really underrated. Yeah.
UGK, Outkast.
Outkast, man. Outkast is freaking, they one of the best groups ever.
Man, I wish they would go back out on tour.
Them dudes is one of the best groups ever.
Ever, real talk. Bone Thugs and Harmony, Ghetto Boys.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with the Ghetto Boys. That was my.
All I have in this world. All I have in this world.
Oh. Yo, come on, man.
All
Ghetto
right.
Boys.
Let's see, Kanye West or Twista.
Man, Ye is. Do you understand how Kanye is like one of the greatest artists of a generation? Like that man got like at least 8 to 9 albums that people could go listen to now and it still stand up. It's quality.
He giving facts. And the last one, Eminem or Lil Wayne?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Eminem or Lil Wayne? Damn.
You want to flip a coin on it?
That's
a tough one.
I feel like they got both different styles.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Lil Wayne is like, he's a super, like, really dope MC. People, he not underrated, but I'm saying people don't recognize he be saying some clever, really dope stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm about to go with Eminem because Eminem just throughout now decades he been able to still, like if you put him in a circle right now with some of the newest MCs, he's still gonna stand out.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. That's true.
And he made classics.
Man, well, you have survived our round of ass style. Let's all give me
Thanks,
We're hanging on to the masters right now.
That was tough, man.
Hey, but
Yes.
I just love the stories and the connections and how certain ones motivate you, certain artists, and like how they inspired you, man.
Yeah.
Like you went deep with that. But let's talk about the Common Ground Foundation.
Yeah, I really
right?
want to talk about the Common Ground Foundation. I love what you're doing with the youth. I really encourage more artists to do what you're doing. Can we talk about that? Because a lot of people don't really know about the Common Ground Foundation.
Yeah, well, it's a foundation we started like in 2007, where we take a lot of youth from Chicago and just they go through our programs programs that include like academic work. It's like they learn about nutrition and health, and they also like everything from yoga to like mindfulness practices they learn. We also do like social activist work. Like they go out and help with some of the inner city farms, like, and they've done work in the neighborhoods, in community building stuff, programs. So like, and we do creative work, like, you know, with them too, like from creative writing to exposing them to new things. So our camp is just starting like in tomorrow for the kids, where we take them outside of Chicago and take them to, you know, this little camp site where they get to do all type of stuff.
Yeah.
And they got to put their phones away, and we have like building sessions where the young men just talk with the mentors, the male mentors, and the young ladies talk with the female mentors. It's really enlightening for them, and like you taking kids out of the city to a place that they never.
Because some of these kids never even traveled outside the city.
And here, never traveled downtown.
Never left their block.
It's true though.
Yeah. You know,
and what's crazy is that I was in a program sort of like that out in South Central, and it was like women like me took younger women and we just showed them how to be better women, because a lot of these kids in the hood, you know, wherever we're from, they have this hard exterior and they act so hard and they got this tough exterior, but we have to realize they do it because they have to protect themselves.
Yeah.
They're doing it to protect themselves. So we have to knock down those walls and be like, baby girl, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And a lot of, you know, when you knock down the walls, you see how incredible, we kind of know it, but once you get to like knock down the walls, like our kids, I saw some of the drawings they were doing, like the songs they were making up, like, I was like, yo, these kids are incredible. Like, but it's just like, you have to give them that that platform and that opportunity to just express themselves
Right.
and be able to be free to be open.
Because a lot of times they're scared to be vulnerable.
Yeah,
because when you're from
exactly.
the hood, you can't be vulnerable. You
Yeah,
got to
that's
protect
true.
yourself
Yeah.
at all times.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But some of these girls, when we were talking to them and meeting with them, they didn't know any. They didn't know the difference between a salad fork, a dinner fork. They'd never been to nice restaurants. You know what I mean? They're just barely getting by.
But that's what, for me, like, hip-hop was allowed me to travel and see different things. Hip-hop was the first time took me out of Chicago, which was really segregated, because Chicago was like black, white, and Latino. So I didn't even get to like just blend in with different cultures. When I got to New York, because of hip-hop, like just traveling, I got to see the world in a different way. I was bringing back a lot of that to my city. That's what essentially what I want Common Ground is doing. That's what we're doing. We bringing back all these things that I've been exposed to, or the mentor's been exposed to. We bringing it to our kids, so then they can say, you know what, I might want to be a director of photography. You know what, I might want to be a chef. I might want to be a psychiatrist. Whatever. Like, we want them to be exposed to things, and so they can make choices and find their passions and their dreams and go for it, and know they got the support. Because like you said, it's tough to be vulnerable. We want them to be able to share whatever they're going through.
Right.
And
Open up.
along with that, just to speak on it, the Common Ground Foundation, we also, part of the connection to that is we opening up a school. It's called AIM. It's called Art in Motion. And it's opening September 3rd in Chicago, and it's based on arts and and the creative things I was talking about. So that school is opening up. I'm really happy about
Oh, that's
that.
dope. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
man.
Yeah. And we want to bring, my thing is like, I want to bring, like I said, especially when it comes to like all these things I've been exposed to in film and music. I want the kids to know it's like, it's somebody that works on production of a radio station. It's
Exactly.
somebody-
There's behind the
it's
scenes.
behind the scenes.
Yes.
there. And they need to know that. Like, it's a costume designer.
But you're right, Common, because here's the thing is that a lot of these kids, you know what I mean, that grew up in the neighborhood, all they know is, I want to be a producer. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a basketball player.
Yep.
And you're like, no, hold up. There's a whole lot
It's a whole
more.
nother
Yes.
world that
Yes.
creates that. It's people I need them to know what a director of photography does, or that they could be the head of makeup or costume design or art director on a film. You don't have to just be the actor. You don't have to just be, like you saying, the music producer or the rapper. Like, it's so many jobs, and you might be naturally gifted in one of those areas that you just don't know.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to throw this at you. When you start your school, when there's a couple of students that do well, have them come to LA and they intern for us for a week or whatever, so they can get the whole experience.
yeah,
I love it.
absolutely.
And I'm
We would
gonna
love
throw
to
it right
help them.
back to y'all when the time is right. I want y'all to come, like, actually teach a course for like
Be
2-3
honored.
days.
Be honored to do that.
Done.
Just
Yep.
2-3
Done.
days. Just like, 'cause that's what my thing is. I've met a lot of people in this industry, and a lot of people say, "Man, we down to help."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Okay, y'all, I'm gonna
Call out
on
them
you.
names.
I'm
No,
gonna call on you.
yeah,
I'm gonna call on
calling
you.
out names.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna call on you.
We in it, man.
There's nothing more beautiful than giving back, because we have to realize, everybody that's in this room, we have to realize at some moment, this is bigger than us.
Yeah.
It's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? We're creating paths for the younger generation to come, and we're
Yes.
trying to make it a little easier for them.
That's what.
Yeah.
Yo, that right there is the key. Like, and honestly, obviously, when I look at this, at a certain point and I look at all this music that's laid out in my career, I think at a certain point I realized the music was bigger than me. Meaning I'm doing this because I love it, but it can really inspire other people and it can affect people's lives. So like take it serious and like
Right.
and like really put my all into it and also take that into consideration when you creating, like, so that's what. That for me, I feel like we could do it from every aspect. Like,
Absolutely.
it's bigger than us.
Definitely
I
is.
feel it's time for us to gear up as a team and do this, because in the world of bullying and social media where people rely on likes and views, this young generation could get easily lost, but I think we can make it right for them.
Yes, sir.
We in it
got
to win it, man.
We owe it.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Yes,
Common, man. It's a
thank you
blessing,
so
bro.
much.
Thank y'all for
Yo.
having me, y'all.
And I think you should
Tour
bring
the
a Common Ground Foundation chapter in LA. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
got you.
Come on, let's get that. Let's get that.
I'm
Let's
behind
go.
it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Common, CC Romeo, K-Day Morning Show. It's a wrap.